Speech had portions of it that came from Michelle Obama's speech in 2008. It's as plain as day to look at them side by side. Can you acknowledge that and then move on?
What I'm going to do, Chris, and you're right for the final time, is to say that the speech that Melania Trump gave was a speech that she felt was very personal to her. It was a speech that talked about her love of a country, how she immigrated here, the opportunities that America gave to her as she came here, and it talked about meeting a man named Donald Trump who she fell in love with and raised a family with. And she wanted to talk to the American people about, you know, those personal feelings and thoughts. The speech was very effective and it communicated those feelings. The controversy that you're talking about is not meaningful at all. She's not a candidate for office. She was expressing her personal feelings about her country and her husband and why he's best for the United States. And I agree with you, that's the final word.
Except, Paul, all of that can be true, except that you are denying by failing to acknowledge something that's also true, which is that some of those words came from Michelle Obama's speech in 2008. You have every kind of expert and anybody with eyes who sees that. You keep ignoring it. I don't understand why. I don't understand why you keep making this an issue.
Because it's a speech that she gave talking about her feelings. She's not a candidate for office. I could get into all the reasons again. It doesn't make sense to go backwards. I think what we want to talk about today embellish the chances of our party.
Paul, I understand all that. The reason that this matters, though, is that, frankly, you're distracting from that storyline by refusing to acknowledge something that's true, and it plays into two issues. The first is, a big part of the case I'm hearing here at the convention for why Donald Trump needs to be president is that Hillary Clinton can't be trusted, that she doesn't level with the American people, which is another way of saying she lies. That is what this is going on right now with this issue that should be small about this speech. You don't like that you got caught with some of Michelle Obama's language in the speech. Who knows how it happened? You had a big group working with Melania on it. You don't want to acknowledge it because that's the way this campaign works. That plays into the second problem, which is that when faced with something that you did wrong, you just deny it, no matter whether it's true or not, whether it's the man who has a developmental disability who works for the New York Times and Donald Trump mocks him and then says, no, I didn't. Whether it's a star that represents the Star of David and you say, no, it's a sheriff's star. There is a pattern. Whether it's Baron John Miller, that was really Donald Trump, there's a pattern of denying the obvious. What happens when you're running the government of the United States and you don't want to deal with what happens then? That's the concern. That's why I don't understand you won't just own this little thing and move on.
Well, Chris, I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder, because the pattern that I see is a pattern of the media not being prepared to look at what's really going on in America, not look at what's really happening in the Trump campaign, look at what really is being tapped into, and looking at why it's working, not why it's failing, why it's working. Because, you know, over the last 10 months, as you all have been pointing out things which aren't true, to say that this is going to be a problem for the Trump campaign, you've been wrong consistently. The American people disagree with your perceptions of all the things you've just said. No, it isn't. It's the same thing. Because you're looking at things that don't exist. You're looking at things that don't exist, and you're not focusing on the broader message that does exist and which the American people are responding to. And last night, Donald Trump,
Paul,
contrary
that is
to all everything you've said,
untrue.
was nominated President of the United States.
But that's untrue. That's untrue. And I don't know where you were at the beginning of this campaign, but I would have loved to talk to you then and say, do you think Donald Trump's going to be the nominee? I don't think it makes you crazy or jaundiced to have been surprised by it. And there's also no question that you deserve a lot of credit for getting him where he was last night. You know I've said that openly and often. But I've got to go back to this other point, though, Paul. I just have to. The idea that we're ignoring something that doesn't matter flies in the face of what we're about. This is about the truth. It's about the truth, and that's all it's about. The language came from Michelle Obama's speech.
The truth is the words, the truth is the feelings that were expressed by Melania Trump that night, which you don't want to focus on. It was the message that she was communicating. That's the truth. And that message reflected her
We say she gave a good speech. We say it was compelling.
Well, then move on.
The words were the same that Michelle Obama. But I can't move on because you keep lying about it, so I can't move on from it. Because I have to talk about what is true. Did a portion of the language of that speech come from Michelle Obama's speech, yes or no?
as far as we're concerned, there are similar words that were used. We've said that, but the feelings of those words and the commonality of those words do not create a situation which we feel we have to agree with you. You want to have that opinion, fine. You want to talk about it for the next 6 months, I'm not going to be here.
It's not an opinion, that's the problem.
I got other things I got to talk about. Okay, well,
no, listen.
Opinion.
I'm not here to beat you over the head with it. I thought you were going to come on to own something that's small and move on to all these other great themes that you have to discuss
came on to talk
about what's going on at this convention.
I came on to talk about what's going on in this convention and the fact that Donald Trump was nominated yesterday against all conventional. And I hope that you eventually can start focusing on those things too.
We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it all morning long. There's no question that what you're trying to do here is working to a large degree. I'm just giving an obvious suggestion, which is when I'm on that convention floor at night, as you know, we're there every night, people are saying, Hillary Clinton, I can't trust her. I think she lies. Donald Trump won't lie to us. That's what this situation goes to. And so, as you know, people are wondering why the campaign handled it this way. Well, I'm just saying you make it impossible to move on when you won't acknowledge what we know to be true. That's all. And I don't know why you're blaming us for that. That just doesn't seem very fair.
Because you've spent 7 minutes talking about something that's not relevant to anybody but you and the media, but not to the American people. That's why.
The truth isn't relevant to anybody but us?
You can keep talking about it. The truth is, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not a liar, contrary to what you just said.